Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw this update already. I'm gonna try and give a little more detail here. I don't actually know if that's beneficial or not. I do know that a lot of people go through this, but I also know that I think it adds some anxiety because sometimes it feels like these are the stories you really hear more of over successful stories, because these do tend to get more attention. So I don't always know if it's good or not. I do think it raises awareness. I do think it allows other people to see like they're not alone in this situation, because I know a couple decades ago it was a pretty isolating, lonely situation. So I hope by posting this, it's going to eliminate that. And I hope it doesn't add to people's anxiety. So if you're pregnant, or if it's something that you worry about, probably just don't even watch the video. Honestly, like, I'm going to sit here and tell you not to watch it. But if you think that it's in any way helpful to you, then, you know, if you like to follow people's stories, then here it is. So a little bit of background, if you don't know, we went through some infertility issues in the beginning. I got pregnant in 2019, and we lost that baby at 16 weeks due to a brain malformation called Dandy-Walker syndrome, or Dandy-Walker malformation. Really rare. That's really rare. Like, the whole situation is really rare. It's really rare to lose a baby at 16 weeks. It's really rare. Just like that disorder was really rare. So that was unusual. The thing about it is there can be some genetic components to it. So it is something I've always kind of worried about, having that happen again, because it's rare. There's not a whole lot of information on it. There is and there isn't. There's not a lot on like how it gets, like, sometimes it can just occur randomly, and I hope that that's what happened, but sometimes it can be a genetic thing, and it can reoccur in siblings. So that has always been something I've been concerned about. We had to do an IUI to have Amelia. Ellie was natural. This baby was natural after we only tried 2 months for this one. But first ultrasound we went to, I should have been 6 weeks, 3 days, and all that there was a yolk sac. And we don't think there was a baby. There's a little bit of debate about whether there was or was not. The doctor pretty much ended up saying he didn't think there was a fetal pole. But the following week, I do have the videos with that. I have some videos of audio. The doctor's office doesn't like you to record, so I'll probably put like a really short snippet of what the ultrasound tech said. But there won't be any actual video of the room. So that ultrasound, baby did have a heartbeat, and baby was measurable, and baby was measuring 6 weeks 1 day. I was about 7 weeks 3 days. That can happen. I know my dates were right. That was the only thing that definitely made me kind of feel like Nick was, he's out with Amelia, and he called. So I wanted to answer that. So yeah, baby did have a heartbeat. I'll probably just play those videos from there. Or maybe I'll just slide that in now, and then you guys can hear kind of what the ultrasound tech said. Okay, so I'm recording this super fast. I was able to move up my appointment, so it's a little earlier than I expected, so I'm just trying to get this done really quick. I'm here, I'm 7 weeks, 3 days, so realistically we should be seeing quite a bit, so let's go find out.
I do want to let you know that I do see like a little flicker there. But
Yeah.
at this point, we should be seeing color in there too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It seems slow too, right? 95?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm gonna have Dr. Wilkes take a look at it, see what he thinks.
Yeah. I mean, so I know he said that this happens all the time, but I know when my ovulation date was, and then I got a positive pregnancy test 10 days later.
Okay.
So I can't be off by a week.
Too
know?
far along, yeah.
Yeah.
And baby's measuring the same as last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time she did say all she could find was a yolk sac. She thought she was
yes.
measuring the baby, and then she's like, well,
Right.
now I can't tell. And maybe she was. She was like, I can't tell if it's the yolk sac or the baby.
Yeah, but you can see that little like flutter, right?
Yeah, but you should
But
see
we
color.
should be seeing color there.
Basically, baby had a heartbeat, was pretty low at 95, no blood flow in the actual heart, or no actual blood flow to the heart. She couldn't say that, but I know that's what she was saying. And baby was measuring behind. My doctor thought, I mean, he's pretty optimistic in general. He's a great doctor, and he's just a great person in general. But he's like, well, it's going in the right direction, which is true. And he's like, I really think next week you're going to come back and the heart rate's going to be 140s and everything's going to look good. And so we went another week kind of knowing like this doesn't really look normal. Obviously, between the first ultrasound and the second ultrasound, I was definitely concerned because I was like, I know that this is not what this should look like. And then between the second and the third, same thing. I was like, I know this is not what this should look like. And there's some studies about heart rates and stuff that, like, if it's under 100 at 7 weeks, there's 0 chance of survival. But my doctor is saying I've seen people on both sides and studies aren't everything. So came back the next week and baby had grown about 3 days. So baby ended up being 6 weeks, 4 days. But there was no heartbeat. So we did a D&C the next day just because that was kind of what was advised. It's supposed to be less painful. My doctor does it under anesthesia. He does it with the ultrasound guidance. So it's pretty safe. I definitely never thought I'd be doing another D&C for a couple reasons. One, I really just didn't, I don't know. I guess I thought that if I miscarried again, it was going to be early and it was going to happen naturally. And this was, I ended up being 8 weeks, 3 days when we found out, that the baby had passed. So yeah, I really never thought I was going to have another D&C. It went well. It definitely went better than the first one. The first one was a lot more painful. I think just because the baby was older and bigger and that was like a completely different situation as far as like procedures and stuff went. So I'm recovering well. Tomorrow will be a week ago that we found out the baby had passed away. 2 days from now is a week from the D&C. I had the D&C, I was able to still go to school. So I had the D&C on Wednesday, I was still able to go to school Friday and go to clinicals on Saturday. So I'm really grateful that all of that is going well. I'm definitely pretty upset. It took a long time to convince Nick to have another baby in general, just because it is busy. It's busy with 2 kids and it is crazy. And I keep trying, I keep telling him like, well, yes, but as they get older, things change. Like things are constantly changing with little kids. And so I'm trying to see into the future and see like the forest beyond the trees. And like right now we're definitely in the trees, but I'm like, yeah, but 9 months from now, everything's a little bit different or a lot different. Kids like mature so fast. And so what's really difficult now, 9 months from now, like is probably just going to be a memory. It's of course always going to be busy, but I really think we'd be happier having another one than not. I'd really like to have 4. I think he'd really like to have 2 at this point, which is funny because when we got married, it was the reverse. I was like, 2 is good, and he was like, no, I want 4. So it's hard to convince him on this one. He definitely got his whole, he got excited about it, and he was happy that we were having another baby, but now he's like, for the 2 reasons now, he's like, well, it is really busy with just Amelia and Ellie. And then also he's like, and I don't really want to go through this again because this is disappointing and upsetting and difficult and mentally and physically challenging. And so that almost is harder for me. I mean, it's hard that I lost the baby. It's hard for me to like move forward though, thinking like that was my only chance. And I do think he'll probably change his mind eventually. I don't know. We'll just have to work on it and see. I also get I do get the not wanting to do this again because that was my first response. My initial reaction was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this again. I'm just going to have the 2 and that's okay. And it took about 48 hours for that feeling to go away. And then I was like, no, I actually did really want another baby. Obviously I wanted this baby, but that's not going to work out. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have.